Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and I'm going to do an updated video on the RockBot. I haven't done a video on that in a few weeks, probably a month. And again, everything is up and running. The RockBot 1 minute is on the RockBot channel, but I've been running the 5-minute RockBot on my computer when I do my broadcast. So if I get any 5-minute divergences, and I've been watching it for the last 2 weeks. I haven't had it actively trading on my account, but I had it on just on the sim and just keep it in the background just to hear when the 5-minute divergences are set up. That's what I like to use it for, and then I usually tend to make my decision if I want to trade it, the setup. And I did that this week. We ended up getting into some calls at one point, and they worked out really good. And I believe that was off of a 5-minute divergence. Now that made me think. I was like, for the whole week, I'm looking at the 5-minute divergence. I was like, wow, this is really. And this is the chart right now. This is actually the chart that you see is today or yesterday. Today, this morning, yesterday, and this past week. So this is what I have running. It's a long 5-minute divergence on the MES. Now, not to go into a whole history of the RockBot, but the RockBot is a divergence identifier. My divergence signals that I trade off of are very important, and that's one of the criteria for me to take an active trade. So the whole RockBot in itself is an indicator for me, and the indicator is like I have to have 3 things lined up for me to take a trade in the ES or the MES or any type of futures trade. One of them is usually a divergence. So I also like to have that channel line defined. If there's a channel defined, so I know where my major pivots are and where I'm looking to trade, and then there's other support and the candlestick. That's the 3. And there's 2 other ones that we could manage. We can do support and resistance in the VWAP, the moving averages, any type of support line like that. But the main 3 are the divergences, the candlestick, looking for that reversal off of taking out the previous lows, going back 7 to 10 candles, and the directional channels, the 1, 2, 3 pattern. All those, and then how the moving averages arrange, how the divergence arranges, how the bigger time frame is setting up, all means something. I mean, you could have a 1-minute divergence, and it might not get that type of move you want because the 5-minute is actively selling off. And that's the trick with automated trading, or at least with bot trading, is there's all kinds of things that you could put in here. Right now we're identifying the divergence. It really is up to you to say, what is the conditions around this divergence? Is the market selling off hard and this is a bounce divergence? It's only going to bounce a few points and roll over and continue down? Or is this a pullback in a larger uptrend and I could let this thing go further? These are important things to address when you're trading. So the first thing we need to do is get the signal. The symbols. You need the symbol too. But you need the signal. Now, it says 1-minute divergence here, and the reason I'm going to explain that in a second. But for all what you should just understand is this is the divergence formula that is on the RockBot, and it's being applied to the 5-minute divergence. So it's the same one as the 1-minute divergence. The 1-minute and the 5-minute divergence formula works interchangeably on each of the things because it's the input of the time frame. You're still going to get the same criteria. You still need that same criteria and how the formula works. So it doesn't matter if I have the 1-minute divergence. I do it for purposes of posting on the chart and letting you know what it is. But I happen to just before I realized that I had the 1-minute divergence, I could put it back and just put the 5-minute divergence just so it labels it correctly. But just know that this is a 5-minute. You can see up here the time frame. Usually on the top of your screen, you can see the time frame. Here it's 5-minute, and I made sure it's 5-minute too. So I just decided to kind of go back and and say how important this 5-minute has been working out. The 5-minute has been unstoppable, basically. So I just started to back test it, and looking at the signals, and I'm saying, all right, everything looks really good. All these really good signals started here, and the move up from these, and these are just taking profits when if this had more to run with, if you had multiple contracts and you scaled out on the way, I'm sure you could have captured most of this run. Again, all I'm trying to find is the initial entry, and that's it. Everything else is just automated to kind of just show you working in the direction. This could be set at any point, but this is really up to you. The divergence identification, all right, that's up to the bot. At that point, you can put in the parameters of how you want to take your profits, but that really takes on, you need to take that control back to you and say, all right, now I need to check what the market's doing. Are we in a rotation? Are we in a 5-minute upside? Or what's my bigger time frame? What's the 60-minute looking like? Or what time of day is it? Or, is there news, coming up? So all these things have to be part of the formula before you really understand, but the main part is getting the signal, understanding it, and everything else is easy. So this has been working great. I want to concentrate more on this going forward, because I don't want to, we get caught up in different cycles in the market. At one point we're trading, SPACs or break IPOs, and the next thing we're into real cheap flatline poppers, and then NFT stocks, and then of course everyone's getting into the social media short squeezes. So there's all this thing that you could jump into. I pulled away a lot from the futures trading, and I want to get back into it. And this watching this 5-minute divergence just showed me that I want to really concentrate it with the 5-minute, even if it's just taking the 5-minute trade, because I know the 1 minute could be choppy. The 1 minute is a very choppy trade. Again, it all really depends on the parameters you put in there. I just put a parameter in there, and sometimes you have red days, sometimes there's green days on that. But it's really about where you're setting your parameters based on the day's volatility and the news and the direction and everything like that. So even here on the 5-minute, I realized the 5-minute gives us much bigger candles, so it's easier to get a little bit more profit. So the one big thing I've changed on this is just my parameters. I ended up, and the reason it seems to be working good is that I changed the parameters to, let's see what I have them here for. I'll show you what they are. And again, this is the Thunderbird 1 minute. It could be it should be the Thunderbird 5-minute, but I already put it in, and I just want to make sure that it's, you understand what it is. So we have the take profits, 8 ticks, and at that point, and again, this is starting off with a 5 lot, and this could be anything. You could adjust this to anything. You can make it a 10 lot, or you can make it a, equal to 1 ES, or you can make it 5, you can make it 2, and you can adjust any of these parameters here. But I'm just going to keep it to 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take majority off at 4. 4 of these are going to come off on the first target. So first target is 8 ticks, and we're going to take 4 contracts off. And then 0 for profits number 2, 0 for how much we're going to take off. That leaves we have 1 left. And if there's no profits to take at number 2, what's going to happen is it's going to fall to the trailing stop. So once 8 ticks come into play, and you've already taken most of the position off, there is 1 contract left. The stop automatically goes to a trailing stop to 8 ticks and follows it by 8 ticks. So it's 8 ticks underneath it, which is really your break-even point, so you're not going to lose any money on the trade. So that's what I've changed up on. I've taken, because what I'm seeing is the first target is being hit, but normally I've kind of scaled it out, like take 2 here, let 2 run, and then have a trailer. But the 2 runs, the ones after the initial targets are less, they're less of a probability of being hit, and sometimes they'll roll over before the next target, or something will go wrong and it'll be more on the table instead of taking the initial, money off the table and letting one go for as long as it wants to go. So this has been working out really good, and I just wanted to make sure I kind of pointed that out. 8 profit, 8 ticks. Taking 4 contracts off, that's a lot. You have 5 altogether. I make 0, 0. Stop loss tick is 12, but you know what I've been doing? I've been using the signal bar low. Now the signal bar low pretty much just takes that signal, it takes the divergence signal and puts the stop 1 tick under the candle low, which is typically what I like to do. So I had that programmed in, and then and that's it. So if you have this on signal bar low, you don't have to worry about ticks. You don't have to put anything there. But if you have this on ticks, then it'll automatically use what ticks you have. All right. So let's try. And then here's your trailing stops and nothing else in the signal bar low. And make sure this your series is on 5 minute, and then whatever account you're using, if you attach an IB account to it or whatever you want to attach to it. I just have it on a sim right now on this, and then you enable it. So I want to re-enable it. I just want to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Apply. Okay. Now it should fill up here. There it goes. It fills up. So another thing I want to do is I said, all right, so this is working out pretty good. I haven't seen anything that hasn't really missed. Here's one. All right, so here's our first one. And trailing stop. This is going back a few, I don't know when this is going back to, but look at what happened here. This is actually a really nice, this would have been a great trade, especially a 5 minute. Remember, each one of these candles is 5 minutes, so this is a long period of time here. It's also at nighttime too, so that's another thing. The overnight trade could be a little sloppy. Sometimes you might want to trade the overnight slide. In either case, the divergence was perfect, but the candle it didn't really have a tail. Wasn't like the tail was kind of all what happened there. It looks like in that 5 minute time frame, it probably triggered and then came back and ticked a little bit lower before that 5 minute candle was. It's weird that we see that. It's like the entry and the exits on the same candle, and you could tell, like, wow, that's kind of didn't give us any. Well, here's another thing: the trailing stop and the entry is the same, so we didn't lose any money on that. But it should have been. We should have held on to that. I mean, so I want to look at that and see what caused that problem, because that would have been a good one if we had a candle bar low. It would have worked out in our favor. And here's another one. So this one I could see actually. I could see that one. That candle came down. The stochastics. See what that trigger is. It triggers on 3 candles ahead. See, with the divergence, you need a closing candle, and then it actually triggers the next candle. So, in this case, this was your divergence candle. By the time it triggered, it was here. But the divergence candle, you had the stochastics pushing up. Think about sometimes I could eliminate a little pullback like that by adjusting the slope of the divergence. I mean, that there has to be a positive slope divergence when that happens at that point. But another thing I could tell you right now, it's these things are very close to being right on the mark. And after you see that right on the mark, it kind of takes off. So what I want to do here now, let's do this. Let's and you should do this too. You know, it helps you kind of break down. So go to New, and we're going to go to Strategy Analyzer. And here's the Strategy Analyzer here. So I want to actually put in this, and I could kind of get a picture of what's working and what's not working, and you know. So what do we have? So I want to use the 1 minute buy. That's what I have on there. And my parameters, I have 8, and then I take 4 off, and then nothing on the second profit, 0, and then nothing on. I'm not taking anything off of there. The stop loss, it doesn't matter because I'm going to signal bar low. Trailing stop, we have an 8, and then we have 8, and then that signal bar low. Select the instrument, MES, price based off minute, time frame, and the time frame is 5. And then I'm not going to go, it'll take me 2 days to compile this. I'm just going to do it this week. Or, where am I here? July, April. Let's go, what is this, April? Let's go all the way, let's go back to March 29th, like the Monday. We'll just do Monday right now. What I want to do is see what the statistics are on this before going back too far. I'll just leave that open like that and just see what's brewing here. So then we're going to run this, make sure everything's right. Let's see what it gives us. So this is what we've had for. All right, so 16 trades in the week. 16 divergences were identified, which was only 75%, which means there was 12 and 4 losing trades. 4 losing. Overall, it was a profitable week. Average trades was 14. Average losing trades very small. That's what you like to keep. The profit factor 337 is pretty good. That's pretty good. Now I looked at both of those. I saw two losing trades. I'm curious to see if it was the candles that were too close together. You know, the candles. We're using candle bar low. So let's change that to ticks, and I want to put this to 20. That gives us a 5 point. That's a pretty big stop, but I just want to give it enough time because I know my divergences on the 5 minute are very close, if not. And we could tighten this, and we could optimize this actually using the optimization tool on this. But I'm just curious if we could get rid of the losses by increasing those candles. Let's see what it says now. Drum roll, please. What do we got here? Ooh. Number of trades 16. 1 losing trade now. 1 losing trade. 17 trades altogether. 17. Didn't we have 16 before? That's kind of weird too. Oh, maybe because it adjusts. All right, I know why. Because, you know, when a trade's active and it stays active longer, maybe because you have a stop, then it might run through other positions and then it'll reset. And during the reset pattern, it might be in the divergence. Really, you know, could mess with stuff. Anyway, you could see that the stop brought our biggest loss down, and that's that one loss. It's probably stopped us out at. Would each one of those would be $125. It looks like. But remember, that's probably just one. That's going to be. I think I had the volume. No, I think I just had this off. I just put on the short signal, too. I apologize if I didn't have the audio or the video going, but I just put on the 5 minute short. I grabbed it down, pulled it down. The parameters on that, I just left them the way they are for now because I just want to identify. I just want to see if it's pulling out some good short divergences. See, I'm more of a long trader at this point in the market, so I'm not usually using my short divergence indicator as much. But you know, with it, let's see. That's the short. That's the buy. What's the buy long? Let me make sure that's on. Let's see here. So it hit a short right at the close today, or right before the close, and it probably closed out in the position. And I just want to really see if there was any other. Looking very kind of weird here, pinned up here. All right, here's a short. First profit taken. So there was a little divergence here. I could see it. You see that lower low on the stochastics here, and a higher. Actually, it's a higher high. It's actually a good divergence. Pulled back and then came back up, but it did take profits. There was another one. Did the same thing. Not bad. Fast little divergence. You could see it. Fast little move down. Took profits, and then the trailing stop came in. So again, really depends on how, you know, you're trying to capture a short in a rising market. You have to be much faster, and that's it's amazing that it's actually catching those profits. I probably could tighten that up now too. This one seemed to have stopped out right here. Let's should we do that? Let's see. Profit in the head. You see all these great profits? The divergence short here. And that didn't really do much. That one did. That one came down. Well, that was choppy too. I like the long. The long is working great. I have to adjust this one because I just put it in there just to identify. But if we tighten that one up, let's see if we can tighten that one up and see what happens with it. Actually, let's do this to finish it off. All right, let's see. I'm curious. I'll do it with us together. We'll do it together. And then I got to get going. So I'm going to open up the Ninja Script strategy analyzer. All right, we're going to back test, and we're going to put this over here. We're going to use our short divergence this time. 5-minute short. And what I'm going to do is to do the same thing. I'm going to take it out after 8 ticks, take off 4. Then it's going to be 0, 0, 0, and then stop loss. We're going to do the I don't have a candle bar thing, so I'm going to have to just put a stop in there. Let's use 16, and we'll see. We'll go from there. And then we'll use 8, 8 as our trailing stop, and then 5, and then instrument will be the MES, and then last minute, 5-minute, and then we're going to go to and then I think that's it. Let's see what it comes out with. Now again, this is a short divergence in a very bullish environment. The markets always tend to go higher here, so we might not see the results we don't normally see on the other ones. But let's see what happens if we ran this. We ran both sides. We know we get a nice profit. See, it's just about flat. Down $95 for the week. You're running the short. Let's take a look at that. Total number of trades 11. Number of winning trades 8. Number of losing trades 3. 72%. It's always in the 70s, which, again, largest losing trade was the 120. Largest winning trade. So let's see if we can adjust that, and how will we fix that. 84016. All right, so how many trades we had? We had 72%. All right, I adjusted it. I ended up taking, putting in a tighter profit, grabbing a profit faster, because that's the key to shorting a bullish market, is to not expect the big moves. Like on a bullish market, and you get a nice buy divergence, you get to really set this up and get those running moves. But in this case, you're fighting going against the grain. So you want to make sure you don't roll over fast enough. So I tightened that up, and we got ourselves in a positive, results. But that gives us still about a 70%, 69, 77%. But I'm just cutting off my, I'm cutting down my stop loss here, so it's not taking as big as a loss. Let me see. Let me bring that down to 12. See if it changes anything. No, it went the wrong way. It went the wrong way. So we'll stick it at 16. And then anything else we could do to adjust that. I would have to optimize it, and I'm not going to do that tonight. But a couple different things to learn about it. Then we can look back. How many trades were there? About 13, 14. Also, here's the overnight trading hours. You can actually change this up. Sometimes you'll find that the lack of, you might want to extended hours or real-time hours. I'm not, see what the difference is. There it is, right there. So it might have been a little choppier. I think maybe I always thought the on the template here that the ETS was like extended hours and regular trading hours, but this is electronic trading hours. I was just reading the definition on that. That's basically electronic typically starts around 5:30 p.m. and ends the following morning at 8:30 a.m. Central U.S. time. So it's like the overnight. That's not regular trading hours or your normal trading hours. Now I know. So it will be 8:30 to 5:30. That's interesting. So I put this on the ETH. So that overnight, and you can see that actually had a good results. Really good results. $120. 10 trades, 2 losses, tight stop. I mean that was pretty good. So I have to go back and look at that. You know exactly what that is, when that time frame is. If I put it on regular trading hours, or I mean, is that full through? I mean, what's the one that goes around the clock? If you know, let me know. It's RTH. See, now that's working fine too. Like, that's weird. It looks like I didn't have the right time set up. It wasn't even set on a time. That's really interesting. Unless it was a combination. That was a combination, but I'm still making a lot more money now on this than I was. I'm all confused now. 5-minute chart. All right, going back. Let's and just using the short setup. That's real time, and then extended. See, what was that? 120, and this is 120. I didn't change anything. I'm going to put this back up to 8 ticks here. I just want to see if anything changes here. At least I'm just going to mess around with some things. Oh, that broke it. Yeah, doesn't work. What didn't work there? Did I have something underneath? Trailing stop. Oh, I have 8 there. Should be 4. Sorry. $100. Oh. Better to get out of Dodge when you can. 120. All right. How many losses? 2. 80%. What happened? What changed? That's interesting. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with that. I just was doing that with you real time, so just going through some of this. That's the short side things. Changes the different parameters. How you could change the different parameters. The changing the time, back testing, also applying that to your charts and letting things go. Look for me to get this running next week. I don't want to miss out on these moves, especially this 5-minute divergence moves, which is key. It's just key to making money in this market. I'm also considering putting the dual screen on the RockBot, having the 5-minute and the 1-minute. I think I could do that. I might even do that now. But I just want to make sure it was big enough so people could see it. So one of them has to take a back seat. But I could do a big 1-minute and overlay the 5-minute kind of in the bottom left corner or something. That's what I'll probably end up doing. So look for that next week also. We'll do that for the RockBot channel. And if you have any questions or anything, just get in touch with me in the room, or send an email to support, and I'll get the answers to you. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.